And I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but I don't know if this is gonna work. Hi everybody, welcome to Gunpla TV.
Hey guys.
Brought to you by HobbyLink Japan. This is episode 113.
Yes.
113. And today, Ryan, it looks like you finished up your
I haven't
painting.
finished it. I sprayed him.
Yeah?
No weathering yet.
Okay.
But I'll give a report later.
Sure. And this episode, we're actually going to be talking about the kind of history of the Master Grade Gundam UC line. And you can see I got this stack of boxes here.
And there's a reason for that.
There's a reason for that, because I'm talking about them. Before we get on to all this, I'm going to talk about the new releases. And we'll start with some of these small stuff.
Yeah.
Bandai has released more of the MS Builders parts here. So let's talk about these briefly.
Okay.
So for those people who don't know, the Builders parts is Bandai's attempt to get into the aftermarket market by releasing a lot of tiny accessories that can be used to build Gundam kits. And they previously released things like these, the figures. This is 1/100 scale.
I remember these guys.
Yeah, and they've released hands, and they've released the emblem, like the V-fins and what have you. Now they're doing another set. Here's another set, and this is called the MS panel. And you can see they give you a little few designs, different sizes, that you can use to say make a panel on your Gundam, make a vent. I usually use something like these for openings under the shoulder. If there's an opening you want to cover up, you can cover it up with a vent or a panel cover here. And they actually work really well, and they're easy to put on with just a little bit of glue and paint. But they are venturing into some things that, I don't even know what this is. It's called the Radome. And some of these are pretty sizable. Look at the size of this thing.
What are these?
And I'm not quite sure, what they're meant to be used for, because I haven't seen any examples. I'll probably see that when I go to Akihabara next. But you can see that they at least tell you to put together, how to put it together and what the finished product, what it's like. And that's just a matter of you to paint it. And now, this is probably the coolest one so far, I think. You get a lot of emblems.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, these are the relief emblems. So you get 3 types, actually. You get the EFSF type here, which is the cross somewhat. And then you get the Xeon, and then the new type, the Xeon, Neo Xeon type. So 1, 2, 3. Actually, for those of people who have been paying attention when we were talking about the Sinanjus and whatnot, these look very familiar, yeah? These guys. This design you'll see on Zaku. You'll get the dry transfer or whatever you can put on a Zaku on his shoulder armor. But these guys you start seeing on pieces like the Sinanju. Anything by Char Aznavour. A lot of that there. And again, here's that design. Really a lot of detail in there for the size. So for people who are trying to figure out how to paint the part that comes with the kit, you might want to cut that away, slap this on after you painted it, and you might actually get a better effect, although it will take more work. So now that we got the small stuff out of the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
It is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
I like to build those parts. I'm glad to see Bandai's getting involved with this. The new release for this week, the big one, is the MG Jesta.
Big news.
Big news. Actually, there's a lot of stuff going on in this kit that people might not know about. So we're going to show it to them. And normally we show the new stuff near the end of the beginning of the episode.
Exactly.
But because this is actually last in the sequence of what we're going to be talking about today,
yes.
Gundam UC Master Grades, I'm going to put it back up here, and we'll get to that near to the end of the episode.
And you don't forget our friend Robert will get one.
Oh,
and
course,
he'll be doing in-depth on that. So
yep.
Yeah.
So before I start pulling boxes around and talking about the goodness of the UC Plamo,
yes.
Why don't you tell us what you did to your
chocolate boy.
Destroid Phalanx?
Yes. So as you can see, here is my boy.
There he is.
My Destroid Phalanx.
You have a chocolatey Phalanx.
It's so funny, like you look at the colors on the spray can, and like this was meant to be like a green, but it's like a metallic green, and the brown is chocolatey.
I do like that green though.
Yeah, and looking at this brown, I quite like it.
Yeah.
It's like a real rich texture, and I was kind of thinking, I wonder if I should do some camo, but I think my main focus will be the dry brushing. But I'll just talk a little bit about my experience spraying this guy, and it was pretty straightforward thanks to Sid's help, and actually just mounting the pieces properly.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, huge difference, because I was really messing about when I put on the priming coat. So yeah, dry brushing, I'm going to give it a bash on one side, and then I'll come in next week and actually do it on camera. and you guys can enjoy the experience.
Are you planning on doing any of the markings that were included, or?
I am. When would you recommend? I think after dry brushing, no?
Do all the dry brushing first, but you might
Have to do it
when you
again.
when you want to put the markings on, you're probably going to end up having to scuff them up yourself, so the markings are damaged as well.
Okay. Okay.
If you put them on before you dry brush, there might be a chance to take them off. So
Okay. Okay.
you can put them on after.
You know, I'm happy. And then we also put what did we put the final coat? Like a gloss?
Yeah, we've already put the gloss coat on, so we're
So that's why it's a
dry
bit
brushing.
shiny.
Yeah.
And Sid said the reason we put the top coat on was to protect the...
You need to protect this paint
Yeah.
when you start taking brushes and stuff to
okay.
it. Otherwise, if you're too aggressive, you'll take some of this paint off.
But no, and there's just a few clear parts for here and in his knees
Yeah.
that I'll stick on there. But let me turn him around and so you can get a bit of a pan.
Yeah.
And I'll actually show you the
That is a cool green.
And let me show you the side. So this is the battle damage part.
Mhm.
So you can see.
There's the holes in your chocolate.
Yes.
Somebody's been nibbling.
Damn Easter Bunny. So next week I should actually have some dry brushing done,
Nice.
and you can look forward to that. But Sid,
Yeah?
give us knowledge.
I will impart my wisdom. No. I'm going to talk about the
Shall
Gundam
sit at
UC
your
Master
feet.
Grades. Probably some of my favorite kits
Yeah.
of all of Gundam,
Mhm.
Gunpla. And we're going to start right now with the very first one that came out.
Okay.
Ha! I pulled a fast one, didn't I? This is the Gundam Unicorn, the Master Grade Gundam Unicorn, but it actually isn't the first kit that Bandai released for the Gundam UC Master Grade line. They released the Unicorn version Ka, and I wanted to show you guys that kit. I was hoping to be able to bring it on the show, but it's been discontinued for so long that it's no longer available, and I can't even find them in used stores anywhere in like Akihabara or whatnot. You have to really go digging for this kit. And I had hoped to be able to find one cheap to bring on the show. Unfortunately, that didn't work. So we're going to start with the next kit that came out, and we'll get to this one when his time frame comes into play here. So in December 2007, the big release for that year was the RXO Unicorn Gundam version Ka, and it was huge at the time because it was a transformable kit. It was the first one from Gundam UC. It came with all the version Ka markings. You know, Kotoki was involved. And while I wanted to bring that on the show and show it to everybody, as we all know, it's been discontinued for a couple years now. And I was trying to find one cheap at some of the stores around my area, and of course, no luck. I was unable to find one. So we'll move on from there, and we'll talk about the next big release in the UC line from the Master Grade, and that was the following December, 2008, which is incidentally just when I started here at HLJ, the Sinanjus version Ka.
Sid's favorite kit.
My favorite kit. It's like my birthday.
Yeah, it's
like,
on every episode.
I started HLJ at the same time this guy started HLJ.
You're like family.
We're like family. We share a bond
Yeah.
that other people don't have.
Yeah.
But we've shown this kit enough. Of course, we don't need to open it up. But we'll show you the box here. And now what's notable about this kit, of course, it's a Kotoki design kit. It comes with all of its weapons and the effect parts. And it also comes with water slide decals that you could use for the emblems, as well as foil stickers. So Bandai gave you those extras you could choose for yourself. And there wasn't much in the way of any Master Grade kits after this for like 2009. I think they released the titanium version finish of that kit, which we showed. But it wasn't until March 2010 that another Gundam UC Master Grade hit the shelves, and it actually was just a throwback. They had actually just redone the version Ka. Now with the OVAs hitting the theaters at the time, they wanted to get the OVA version of the Unicorn. This is what they did. They changed the color slightly, although it's not noticeable, similar to how we showed the Sinanjus version Ka and the OVA Sinanjus. But they also changed some of the armor parts here, because there were some issues with some of the joints on the version Ka. It couldn't bend its legs very well, and Bandai actually threw in a couple extra pieces. So here's the extra runner. Bandai gave you this extra runner, and on this extra runner are these parts that are molded in a slightly different shape, which allow you to bend the legs a little bit more, open the rear flap a little bit more, and also the head has Vulcans, the head Vulcans, which do not appear on the original version Ka. And at the same time, they released the OVA Unicorn, which is the best unicorn, as we mentioned on the show here. They brought out the cage. Look at the size of this thing.
It's huge.
Boom! Now, of course, it's the same kit as the OVA version, but what it comes with is that cage right there, that baby. So you actually build the cage. Actually, we'll try to show the runners here. The way they set up this box. Here's all the cage runners. It takes a whole corner of the box here. And when you build this, you can position your unicorn as he appears in certain parts of the anime. You know, there it is, the unicorn. You know, it's all docked and getting its maintenance and whatever else, getting prepped. Nobody's flown it before, etc. Just test flight. And it also is used to store the weapons that you will get. You get the shield, of course, the beam rifle, the beam sabers, and it stores there in the cage.
What's the price on this guy?
I think it was 7,500 yen. Is Bandai's recommended. It's not too bad when you think of the size of this.
Yeah.
Right, you're getting the unicorn as well as a whole other kit, which is the cage. Yeah, so we'll put this aside here. So far in the Gundam UC line, you've seen the unicorn 3 times, and you've seen the Sinanjus a couple times with that in the titanium finish. But what came after that? Well, we're going to show you next. So after the unicorns and Sinanjus, the next kit to come out, the mobile suit model, was the ReZEL. Now, we don't have the ReZEL in stock here, unfortunately, but we do have the Commander, which came out January 2011, so only 3 months after the original ReZEL. And you can see the design here. It actually shares a lot of similarities with the
I like
Type
this.
C that we showed last week. Yeah, specifically the big, huge, monstrous,
the huge cannon
rifle, and of course the Type C has 2 of them. But basically, it's the same design. The ReZEL, the Commander, and the Type C are all the same for a suit, except for the backpack. So it transforms. All of them will transform. They're made to transform with no part swapping, like what you would find on an HG, which is excellent. And they actually hold up pretty well for a transforming kit. And we'll talk about those in a minute here. So with the ReZEL, it was a new molds. It was a new kit. People were excited because, you know, they'd only been able to build the unicorns and Sinanjus up to then. And then around, this is January 2011, I think August of 2011, am I thinking right here? We had this guy, the Delta Plus. Now, this is somewhat of a unique kit in the line. If you look at the Gundam UC line so far up until, you know, today, it's been variations of the RXO unicorn and variations of the Sinanju, and then variations of the ReZEL. Now the Delta Plus, it's its own animal, and you can see the box is significantly smaller than even the Commander, which is just a normal size box. There's not a lot of plastic in here, but that's mostly because this guy is one lean, mean fighting machine. All the pieces are rather large, but narrow. Now, the big controversy surrounding this guy is that, here's some of his frame here for transforming parts. Of course, we can't show them here. The big controversy regarding this guy was that, yes, he could transform, and Bandai made him able to transform. You can see the sequence. They had this set up, and we went to the Shizuoka Hobby Show, I think, a couple years ago. They actually had one set up. We took pictures of it.
I remember that.
The controversy with this guy was that because of they went as close as they could to the design of the anime, is that the feet are made to transform, which makes the feet joints somewhat loose, and occasionally people will have problems trying to get this guy to stand up. So here he is standing up. Here's the shot. You can look at that. Standing up like that, you can usually get him he'll be okay. But if you start moving around, trying to play with his legs, he'll start to wobble. This is one of those kits that really needs an action base. You can see they've got him set up here. But it definitely looks wicked once it's transformed into its Wave Rider mode. I think this is probably the kit I like the look of the most, but I experience the most frustration with, just because I like my kits to stand up. But if I'm playing around with the action bases, no problem. And at the time, because it was a wholly new kit, new mobile suit, everybody was all gaga over it. So come December 2012, the big release for that year for Bandai was once again a Gundam UC kit, and it was probably the biggest one we've seen so far in terms of just the amount of plastic they give you.
Yeah, it was huge.
Look at this thing. I mean,
massive.
They had this set up at the Tokyo Hobby Show, the Plasma show we went to, and they had the black light flickering all over this frame, and it looks pretty amazing. And just look at what they're giving you here. I mean, you're getting all these weapons. You know, what is it? 6 Gatling guns and 2 rifles and 2 bazookas, and yeah,
it was insane.
It's pretty good. All those missile pods, and of course, you know, these massive things that fit on the back of it here. And also you could make the base jabber. Now, do we have a shot of that? Oh, we have a shot of that. There's the base jabber. And despite it being a fairly expensive kit at 8,000 yen, the amount of stuff you got in there, I mean, it sold really, really well.
Worth it.
It sold really well, and it still does. It still continues to sell really well. And I still have problems getting it back in the box, which I'll have to worry about afterwards. But 2012, we went out with a bang with this. And even though they were focusing on, I think, Wing, 2011, for the majority of that year, when they reintroduced the Gundam UC line with this thing, we knew that we could expect some pretty awesome stuff along the way. And one that kind of took me by surprise was when they announced that they would be doing the Master Grade Banshee. Now, I think this is March 2012. And basically it is the RXO, the Unicorn Gundam, but they do give you different pieces for the head parts. Let's bring those out here. You get this runner, so you get the Banshee unique head parts, the specific parts labeled as BB. And you also get a few extra parts for the frame for the weapons. A lot of them here. Here they are. They added these here, so you get the weapon also has a Psycho frame, which was kind of a surprise, I thought, because Bandai, when they release these guys, any unicorn, for some reason these are more expensive to produce than the other runners, I guess, because Bandai, if you lose a part, they make you buy the entire thing. So I was excited to see that they were going to do the Banshee, but I was worried because, well, what if I needed just one part from this weapon? Would I have to buy a whole new runner, or how are they going to replace it? But Bandai, I think they actually allot you these individual pieces instead, because I know a lot of people were going to just take their existing unicorn and build it into a Banshee with only a few extra spare parts. And while we're talking about the Banshee here, which do you guys like better? Do you like the Banshee or do you like the normal unicorn? I don't know. I think I like the Banshee in Destroid mode, but I like the unicorn in unicorn mode. And while we're talking about Banshee, as I mentioned here, there's the titanium finish. Now, there was a titanium finish of the version Ka unicorn, but that, of course, like the original version Ka, is discontinued. But there's a titanium finish of the Banshee here, and it's not white. It is this wicked, kind of bluish, black. It reflects the light crazily, so I don't know if you can get a good angle. Like, that's crazy awesome. And more importantly to me, anyway, is that they did a really good job with the extra finish on the runners for the weapons.
What's the retail on this guy?
And they also give water slides.
Oh, sorry.
This is just a normal titanium, but it was kind of expensive. Ryan, do you really want to know?
Well, we're normally like 10% off anyway.
We're 20% off. Yeah. But Bandai, they originally priced this at 12,000 yen, which was kind of expensive. I think the original titanium of the version Ka, I think, was 8.
Okay.
But because of if you look at, like I mentioned, the extra runner, the extra headpiece, as well as the extra weapons and the frames that they've done for the weapons, there's a lot more plastic that they had to recoat for this thing. And that was December.
I like those titanium.
So it's only been up for a little while, which is probably why we're still seeing on the shelves. I imagine this might go discontinued similar to the version Ka. No guarantees. Don't quote me on that. But then 2013 comes along, and it actually starts out really, really well. We did get the Stein.
As the Stein.
Stein, which in some ways, of course, is very, very, very similar to the version Ka Sinanjus that we all know I love so much. But the backpack is a completely new design, and the shield and the rifle are completely new. And most of the armor parts are its own beast. They had to remold all that, so it's not like it's just a variation of the existing kit. A lot of it is brand new parts, and they do give you this included bazooka. And now, for people who had built the version Ka and wanted the bazooka, you had to buy a specific comic at the time, 2009, I think. And if you missed out, tough luck. So a lot of people were like excited, yay, when the Stein comes out, I'm going to get that bazooka. I can use it for my Sinanju as well. And then Bandai announced the OVA. Now, we showed the Sinanju OVA on the show. We've compared it with the version Ka and what each has and what each does. So we don't need to go over that again. We'll talk about the last release that came out for Gundam UC, which is the mighty ReZEL here. We'll just put him on here. We had this guy on last episode. We've already talked about this guy, and we should mention that the box for this guy is huge too.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Massive. Massive. But that brings us to now, Ryan. That brings us to today. And today is the release day.
And I mean, it's a good time to be a Gundam fan. There's some
It's
really
a
nice
good-
kits coming out.
It's a good time to be a Gundam UC fan
Yeah.
because the anime is still going on. I think that's one of the advantages to the Gundam UC line is that the anime is coming out around the time that Bandai has all this technology and know-how that they can make these kind of transforming kits and so forth. And it might turn out to make Gundam UC some of the best Master Grade kits around. But here we go. Here's the Jesta. The Jesta. It Jesta came out today. Get it? Now, despite it being significantly small for a Gundam UC Master Grade, every other box we've shown you has been that big rectangular Master Grade box and bigger. There's a lot of massive stuff here. This is just a standard, you know, small size grunt suit box. But I'm actually really excited for this because it kind of has a unique place, I feel, in the Master Grade line for the Gundam UC so far. It's not a ReZEL, it's not a Unicorn, it's not a Sinanjus, and it's also not a transforming kit. It's its own beast, and we're actually going to open the box right now and find out what's inside of it. So here we go, off comes the lid. What's the first thing I notice? Well, I didn't know about this beforehand because I don't surf the internet, but there's the hands for the grunt suit small box Jesta. You're getting that same kind of hands that we...
Spider hands.
Yeah, we found these with the Sinanjus Stein and the new Gundam version Ka, and now they come with the Jesta. So does that mean that Bandai's going to put these kind of hands in every kit? I don't know. We'll find out. So all these molds, they're all unique. They're all new. You won't find any of these parts in any other of the Gundam UC kits because they had to make this kit from scratch. It's not a variation, as I said. Got this cool kind of dark colored armor here, as well as this kind of bluish. Reminds me of the Delta Plus. You're getting these dry transfers as well as stickers in there. And one thing I noticed, Brian, I just opened up this box. I'm gonna take this out here. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at that. This runner.
Is a lonely runner.
Why is this runner not in a plastic bag? Why is this runner not in a plastic bag? You can see it's that polystyrene. Why is this not in a plastic bag? Now, my conjecture is maybe there was a mistake in a mold and they had to quickly remold it and just throw it in the box with everything else. But normally they'll come in a bag, even if it's only one runner. Like this one is one runner plus the hands, but they still bagged it. This is kind of an anomaly here. Like
the mystery.
The mystery. Does anybody know why this is like this? I actually checked. I thought maybe my box is missing something. So I went out to the warehouse and I opened up a few boxes, and there it is. There's this runner. It's just sitting there. Awesome. So I'm gonna throw this back in here. And this weekend, although I do have some plans, I need to be somewhere. I'm gonna find some time, and I'm gonna build this Jesta.
Sweet.
And then next week on Gunpla TV, we're gonna talk about it.
Awesome.
Awesome. So that wraps up Gundam UC MG in a nutshell. And of course, as the OVA is still ongoing, we're going to see more and more kits coming along from Bandai. So we'll just have to wait and see what they have in store for us. But as that concludes what I'm doing, we can move on to comments.
And tell us your favorite.
Oh, my favorite? It's always going to be the Sinanjus.
Yeah?
Always.
Okay.
Always. Despite having built so many of these other kits afterwards, the Sinanjus is still my favorite.
Sweet. Actually, there's some really cool kits.
Yeah,
the full
Gundam
armor
UC
is awesome.
Yeah, Gundam UC's got some of the best.
Yeah. Now, yes, questions. Just a few, because we were delayed a little bit with the previous
so
episode.
We had a pretty busy week.
Time flies. Shikafurham, I think. Hey, Sid and Ryan, that ReZEL looks gorgeous, Sid.
Thank you.
It is a ReZEL.
It does look good with all that back stuff.
Yeah. One quick question. Can you guys explain what is metal build / metal composite Gundam line?
Ah, yeah, the metal build.
Yeah.
We just had the XCM release. So we should have shown it on the show, actually, but it pretty much was sold out when it got here. Metal build is something Bandai came out with a couple years ago, which basically it's kind of like the Gundam fixed figuration. You don't actually put it together as you would a model kit. There's no runners. What it is more or less die cast.
Yeah, I've seen those.
So it's very sturdy. And I think they were even campaigning that they were coming up with a new type of metal / plastic for it.
Is that the new Transformer one? Is that the same?
No.
No. Okay.
It's different. It's different.
Okay.
Well, next time there is a release of one, we'll bring it on the show and we'll talk about it. But the thing is, I can't really open it up and show people because they're very expensive. You're looking at like maybe 18,000 yen each, and they're sold out like because of the price, Bandai produces only a few, and then pretty much they're all pre-ordered the first or second day they go on the site. And I'm not going to open up one of those and steal it from somebody who's waiting to pay for it. You know, it's a big commitment for something like that.
Yeah.
And I would hate to have somebody go without. So,
and I'd get into trouble.
Yeah.
Next is from Jake Wilson. Didn't you make the Iron Man ReZEL for the Gauntlet on GAF?
GAF, Gundam Australia Forum. I did. We were doing a ReZEL group build, and my entry to the group build was the Iron Man ReZEL.
Should I say ReZEL and some guy
ReZEL.
comment Jeza? In Australia they say
ReZEL.
Jeza.
Jeza.
Hey Jeza.
Yeah, it's well, I think the Iron Man turned out pretty cool. It's probably one of the weaker entries in that group build. There's some really awesome stuff.
Actually, that Gundam Australia forum has some pretty sweet stuff.
Quality builders over there.
One of our sponsored sites, actually.
That's true.
Yeah, Adam. Next is from Ian Chen. Hey Sid and Ryan. Ryan, get a PG. It is cool and fun to build. Thank you.
Do it.
Yeah, I could just go out there and get one, eh? Sid, what do you think Bandai will release on this December? I bet it is a PG Sinanjus or an MG Jesta version 2 version car. Great show and great work.
As first choice with the PG Sinanjus, I'm going to say nope.
Really?
Well, PG it's so big, and there's a lot of thought that goes into which one you're going to release, And I feel that if they were going to release a PG from Gundam UC, they would probably release the Unicorn.
Really?
Before they released the Sinanjus.
But you'd be super
Usually
happy
the
if they
good
did
guys come
Sinanjus,
first, right? Oh yeah.
You'd be like
I'd
falling
build
over
8 of them.
yourself.
But I think the guess of the Sasabi version 2.0 version Ka is probably a really good guess.
Okay.
It's just the size of it. You know, right now it's a 7,000 yen kit, and it's 13 years old. To do a version Ka, it's gonna be big. It would probably be around the same price, and they saved the big releases for December, so you're looking at 8,000 yen. I mean, the Gundam full armor was 8,000 yen.
And talking about yen, now's a good time to buy.
No kidding, it's dropped, eh?
Yeah, it is cheap to buy from us because the yen has become very weak.
Yes.
So if you're hesitating, especially for the big kits,
yeah,
now's the time.
The yen kind of priced people out of the market for some of them, but now they're
especially
with that drop, like 20% drop, like that's a big chunk. And to continue on with this question here, how they've done it in the past when they released, say, the Unicorn version Ka and the Sinanjus version Ka, they released a year apart. So first they released the Unicorn, then they released his nemesis, you know, the bad guy, the Sinanjus. So if they do the same with what they did last December with the new Gundam version Ka, we might be seeing a Sasabi 2.0 version Ka, and that would be sick. I would love it.
Place your bets.
It would be big and red, just like that other big red thing I like.
I'm just waiting for them. You know what I'm waiting for. Mega size. None's coming.
There's a reason for that.
Next is Gabriel Lim. These Ian Chen and Gabriel Lim are from Facebook.
Okay.
Hey Sid and Ryan. I have 2 questions. Regarding the MGH2 double bullet coming out soon, can you combine it, kit bash, it with the original MGH2? I'm planning to make the H2 full saber.
I imagine you could. I mean, the frame is probably going to be the exact same. The transformation is going to be similar, if not the same. So you might be swapping parts around. You can do it. I'm pretty sure of it.
Then he goes on. How do I get my questions shown on HLJ episodes?
Just like that.
Ask a question, and if we feel like answering it, then...
It's not if we feel like answering it. It's more like if we have the answer for you. Some people ask some questions that I don't know the answer to, unfortunately. So I can't really help in that regard. But we have lots of people who do know. They'll comment, and YouTube's good for that. They'll comment.
Yeah, actually, put your comments on YouTube a lot of the time, and people will answer it for you.
There's people out there who know before I do. So I mean, if I know the answer, I will answer your question if time allows.
Time permitting. Next, Mark Menton. This is from HobbyLink TV. Hey, Sid and Ryan. A big hello from South Africa. Enjoying the show. Do they have internet in South Africa?
You tell me, South Africa guy.
Yeah. Actually, I always Skype with my mom, so they do have internet.
Is it like really slow and clanky?
Well, she's like 2 hours out of Cape Town, so
my parents.
She has 3G.
Oh, she's a step up on my parents. My parents live northern part of Canada in Alberta, away from civilization somewhat. And I think they only get internet via satellite.
Whoa.
So when we're trying to Skype,
terrible.
It's like the video doesn't really move. And the voice.
I get that with my mom a bit. But I just think her computer's ancient.
Yeah.
He continues. got me hooked now. Ordered my first Gundam, the HG UC Arms 129 Gira Zulu. Through you guys. Hopefully more orders to come. Cheers, brew. We say brew.
Brew, is that what you say, South Africa?
Like brother. Brew. Hey, brew. How you doing, brew? Regards, Mark.
Okay, brew.
Thanks, buddy. So it's good to know South Africans watch.
Yeah.
Next is from Dave for Sid.
Yeah.
Fellow Canadian here.
All right.
Ontario.
Nice. Ontario, the most populated province in the entire
North, is it east
country.
or west?
It's the eastern side there.
Eastern side,
If
okay.
you divide Canada in half, it would be on the east side. It's right by the Great Lakes.
Opposite from
Ontario.
Alaska, which is not Canada.
I was going to say, what are you talking about?
I recently purchased an RG RX 782 as
Mhm.
well as an RG MS 06S Zaku 2 from HLJ.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
those are good kits.
Keep purchasing from us. Keeps us going. I'm only impressed with the range of motion. I'm impressed with the range of motion and detail in these RG kits, especially considering the only other kit I've built is the HG Wing Gundam Zero, circa 1995.
That's quite a jump to go from the clanky HG with almost no articulation to go to the RG with the inner frame and all those extra colored panels. And
Actually, what happened in that period? That's a long time.
it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm thinking about using Gundam decals instead of the stickers provided, and I'm wondering what the best way to go about spraying clear coats and top coats would be.
Mhm.
Should I strip the kit of its panels and spray individually, or can I achieve a good result by just spraying each assembled limb? Love on the show. Go Leafs.
Go Leafs. I'll address the
David
Leafs in a
is.
minute. But when it comes to spraying the top coat, especially something that small, and because you're only putting decals on it, you can get away with being a little lazy. Just spray assembled limb. For RGs, I'll spray the shoulders, and that's about it. Like when you look at the RG, like it's different from an HG. HG, you can just do each individual foot, leg, arm, head, torso, black. Just put it together. RG with that inner frame, usually you can take off the shoulders, but the arms are still attached to that body.
Yeah.
And you can take off the head, but you still got a torso, and oftentimes the legs are still attached. So I'll strip off the shoulders and the head and the skirt armor, and I'll spray the top coat on that what's left, which is the torso, arms, and legs.
Okay.
And then I'll spray the other parts separately, do the decals just as it is, and then I'll do the top coat again just as it is, and then I'll put it all back together afterwards. Recently, that's what I do with my RG Zeta.
You heard Sid.
That's how I do it, especially with RGs, because they don't go together the same way as normal.
There's a new RG coming next week, yeah?
Oh yeah, Disney baby.
New RG.
Also, I want to talk about the Leafs. The Leafs, I don't know.
Is this hockey or?
This is ice hockey. The Leafs are Canada's, well, I can't say they are Canada's team because there's the Montreal Canadiens, which have won more, and then there's the Toronto Maple Leafs, and because there's, you know, the French Canadian team, the Montreal Canadiens. I lost my French accent a long time ago. And the Toronto Maple Leafs.
French accent.
I can't speak French anymore, sorry. The Leafs, unfortunately, although they're one of the storied franchises in all the hockey league, they have not been able to win anything for like a decade. I think it's been 9 years since they made the playoffs. But this year, despite having a new coach and a very young roster, it looks like they're going to make the playoffs. And the whole city of Toronto is, yeah.
So everything you wanted to know about ice hockey?
Yeah, come to me.
Go
You want to know about
You
ice
won't
hockey,
shut
come to
up.
me. You want to
You
know
won't
about
shut
Gundam,
up
you can go
about
to
it.
other places. I know more about hockey than Gundam, probably.
Which is amazing.
Well, I grew up Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's leave it at that. As you mentioned, there is the new RG Destiny coming next week.
Yeah.
We're going to show it right away.
Uh-huh.
And then we will talk about RG lines in general. I'll have them all on the table, minus one or two.
And I should have something with my kit done.
Yeah.
And just to promote our YouTube channel,
Yeah.
Facebook, HobbyLink TV, all these amazing places to leave comments and
That's
questions.
One thing I need to mention, though, is coming up in 2 weeks' time,
Yeah.
I think, is what we call our Golden Week holidays.
Yeah.
We are going to have a week off at the end of April, beginning of May.
Mm.
So I hope to get that RG Destiny video up before we go on holiday, so we can come back, we can talk about the RG line in depth. But it all depends on time constraints.
And then
schedules and-
after Golden Week, we go into the Shizuoka Hobby Show.
Yes,
So we'll
May
be
16th.
at
The
the Hobby
date has
Show
been set.
shooting videos.
What are we going to see there? We're going to see the two new RGs,
Yeah.
the GPO1 and the full Burnham. And oh man, it's going to be
We always enjoy it. We just got to wake up early to get there.
I'm
That's
looking
it.
forward for the surprise. What's the surprise going to be this year? She's a hobby show.
More RC.
Maybe we'll see more of the MG Gundam Age FX. We might see a color prototype.
That's always cool. The Bandai booth is always fun.
It's always awesome.
Booth babes.
Not so many of those.
No.
Not like a car show.
Very sad. The guns actually have more booth babes. True. Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Is that it?
That's all I got.
Sweet.
All right. See you later.
See ya.